Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Friday, February 23rd. We have 11 games today on this Friday. Big slate today. And like always, guys, before we get started, would really appreciate it if you would leave a like on the video. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you'll never miss out on any of my new uploads. But going through each position today, starting off at point guard on this 11 game slate. Looking up top here, got James Harden going up against Minnesota, sort of the lead point guard on this slate, at least point guard eligible on DraftKings. Not really sure if Harden's a guy I'm trying to pay up for on this slate. Just not really sure if point guard's a position I want to pay up for in general. Not like Harden's a bad player or anything. I just like other studs on the slate. Oladipo at 9,600. I'm not sure I really want to pay that price tag for him. Maybe Chris Paul at 9,100 against Minnesota. You do like that matchup for Paul. He'll most likely be guarded by Jeff Teague. Good matchup there. Teague not the best defender, so if I have to pay up for like one of these point guards, I think Chris Paul would be my favorite option, but I don't think he's really a guy I'm trying to force in on this slate. I like some of the mid-tier plays at point guard. I think this is where you can find some good plays here. Mainly like this 7K range, this mid-tier right here, and then the 6K price range as well. This is where I'm really looking to go at point guard today. I think Lou Williams, kind of a guy that sticks out to me. 7,500 against Phoenix. You love that matchup. And that price tag for Lou Will is also pretty fair as well. I know on Thursday, he was like 6,800, something like that against the Warriors. That game hasn't started yet. I'm recording this video before that game starts, but Lou Will was really cheap on Thursday. Did get a price bump up to 7,500, but I still think that might be too cheap of a price for Lou Will, especially given this matchup. You love the matchup against Phoenix. Just such a bad defensive team, and they play at a fast pace as well. Clippers going to be playing up in pace here. I really like Lou Will in that mid-range at point guard. He's a guy I really have my eye on. It's 7,500. And another guy that's a little bit cheaper than Lou Will that I really like, he's point guard and shooting guard eligible. Just think he's too cheap today. CJ McCollum at 6,500 against the Jazz. Obviously, you don't love that matchup against Utah. They do play at a slow pace. They're pretty solid defensively, but 6,500 for CJ McCollum, just feel like it's too cheap. I don't see how CJ McCollum doesn't pay off this price tag or at least get close to value. I really like him in cash games today. I think it's very likely he's able to get 5x or more. Could easily get 6x. 6x on this price would only be about 38 DraftKings points. On the year, CJ McCollum's been averaging 34 DK points, nearly been averaging 6x this price. So just love McCollum here. Done solid against the Jazz this year. Through 2 games against them, he's played an average of 39 minutes and then has put up an average of 32 DraftKings points. If I get 30 plus from McCollum, that's definitely not killing me. So sort of a cash game play. Love CJ here, just given the price tag. I think he's way too cheap. Him and Lou Will, 2 guys I really want at point guard. I think like DSJ, Eric Bledsoe, those could be guys you go to as well. But I think I'd just rather get up to Lou Will at their price tags. Like since they're sandwiched in between them, I think I'd rather get up to Lou Will or just drop down to McCollum. But looking for maybe some 5K plays here, and then trying to find value at point guard. I think Rivers and Satoransky, both guys at 5,700, are good plays here. Rivers going up against Phoenix. You can obviously go there. Just Phoenix so bad defensively. Going to have exposure to some Clippers today. Always like to attack the Suns. Satoransky just been playing so well with John Wall off the court. Even at 5,700, that seems like a high price tag to pay, but he's been able to hit value on his price. He's been crushing lately. He's actually been giving you some upside for tournaments, so you can roster him in both formats. Rivers, Satoransky, 2 guys I like, both 5,700. Maybe Murray as well against Denver. You like that matchup there, but at 6K for Dejounte Murray, I think I'd rather get up to McCollum or just drop down to Rivers or Satoransky. But then trying to find some 5K and under value plays that we could go to. We know Darren Collison's going to remain out, so Corey Joseph at 4,900 could definitely be a play today. He's getting a great matchup against the Hawks. Bad defensive team against the point guard. Corey Joseph's only 4,900. You could go there if you're going cheap at point guard. You could also play maybe Teodosic as well. The Clippers are on a back-to-back. Teodosic has rested at times on back-to-back. That's pretty concerning, but Avery Bradley was ruled out on Thursday. Teodosic did start for Avery Bradley, so if Teodosic starts again at just 4,400 against the Suns, he could be a play you go to if you're going cheap at point guard. But that's really what I see for this position, that at least options that really catch my eye and stand out to me. So let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard and look up top here. You got Jimmy Butler up top here if you want to play him at shooting guard. I think this is a good spot for him. $9K for Jimmy Butler. I think that's a reasonable price tag to pay. Would much rather have Butler over Oladipo. Would much rather have Butler over Bradley Beal. But Butler's definitely not a guy I'm jamming in today. Same with shooting guard. I think this is another position. We can go to the mid-tier or try and find value. Not really wanting to pay up at point guard or shooting guard today. Sort of in the mid-tier. Kind of like the same place here that I've talked about at point guard. Like Lou Will at 7,500, really like. I think Bledsoe, if you want to play him here, could definitely be a play at 6,900. Really, Lou Will and Bledsoe are the two guys I like in this mid-tier. Like Wiggins, you could probably play if you want to go to him against Houston. 6K for Wiggins is a reasonable price, but definitely not a guy I'm forcing in. You got Rivers and Satoransky at shooting guard, both 5,700 if you want to play him or play them here. This is kind of a gross position. I'm not seeing a ton of plays I'm absolutely in love with. Definitely want to get some exposure maybe to some of these Dallas guys going up against the Lakers, but with their prices, I'm not really sure they're like great must plays. Maybe Wes Matthews would probably be my favorite guy from Dallas. He's just 5,300, and that is a reasonable price tag to pay for him. So you could go to Wes Matthews. Really gross position here at shooting guard. Just not a lot of plays I see that I'm absolutely in love with. Not really seeing a ton of value either. Maybe if you want to go to Kelly Oubre, I know he's playing really well on Thursday night against the Cavs. You could go to him if you're going cheap, just 4,500. But I don't think he's like a great value play on the slate that you really have to have. So that's really it for shooting guard. It's a gross position. I don't see a lot of plays I just have to have. Definitely guys like Lou Will, Satoransky, Rivers. These are the guys I'm really targeting as shooting guard. McCollum, you can play at this position. Eric Bledsoe, I think these are the guys I kind of want at this position. So let's go ahead, move on to small forward. Up top here, you got LeBron, Giannis. Giannis 10-5 against the Raptors. LeBron's 11-2 against Memphis. I'm not really in love with either of these guys today. Not really looking to pay up at small forward either on this slate. LeBron's on a back-to-back. The Cavs are on a back-to-back. You don't really want to target Memphis. They do have a solid defensive team. They play at a really, really slow pace. Same with the Raptors. The Raptors just have such a good defensive team. But Giannis' price tag is intriguing, just 10-5, but still still those two guys are not really guys I'm forcing in on this slate. Another position I feel like we can find some good mid-tier plays, like Otto Porter, 7K against Charlotte. Definitely a guy I like here, been playing really well with John Wall off the court. And 7K feels like a reasonable price tag to pay. You could go to Otto Porter in this mid-tier if you want to go to him. I said I want to get some exposure to Dallas today since they're going to be playing up in pace against a bad defensive team in the Lakers. So Harrison Barnes, just 6,600. Always a good guy you could target in cash games just because he's so consistent. Same with the Clippers too. Want to get some exposure to them going up against Phoenix. So Gallinari, 6,300 in this mid-tier. Small forward if you want to play him here. I think he's a really good option in that mid-range as well. And you also got Wiggins there at 6K, who I mentioned back at shooting guard, who I think is a fine play today. But like in this 5K range of small forward, there is one guy here that I really, really like. But other than him, not seeing a ton of plays really absolutely in love with. But the guy that I do like in this mid-range at small forward was pretty heavy on him Thursday night. Definitely like him again today. Markieff Morris, 5,400 in a matchup against the Hornets. Really like Markieff Morris today. Just been so consistent. Had a nice game Thursday night. At least as I'm recording this video, he's been playing well. He was very consistent to end the break, giving you a solid floor of about 25 to 30 DraftKings points. It seemed like every night. He's been getting that lately, or at least he got that Thursday night. The minutes have been there, 25 to 30 minutes, just about every game. And this is a solid matchup going up against the Hornets, matching up with Marvin Williams. You like that spot for Markieff Morris. And at just 5,400, very likely he is able to pay off this price tag with upside for more. So I was pretty high on him Thursday. Going back to the well, Markieff Morris, 5,400 against the Hornets. Really like him in this mid-range at small forward. Definitely my favorite play here. Could go to Wes Matthews. Could go to like Tatum at 5,200. But if I'm going to this price range at this position, really want Markieff here. He's the guy that I'm penciling in right now. And then trying to find some cheap value. Look sub 5K. One guy here, if you want to go to him, Royce O'Neal, 4,700 against Portland. If Ricky Rubio is out today, we can definitely go to O'Neal here. These teams did just face off, and Rubio missed. And Royce O'Neal put up 31 DraftKings points, and he played 33 minutes with Rubio off the court in this same matchup right before the break. So if Rubio is out again, O'Neal's going to continue to start, going to continue to play big minutes, 30, 35 minutes, seems like every game with Rubio off the court. That's going to have to be news we watch throughout the day. Hopefully we get it before lock, and if we do, I think that makes Royce O'Neal definitely a good value option at just 4,700. He's really the value play I see It's small forward, sub 5K. The other guy that I wanted to mention was Kelly Oubre, but I mentioned him back at shooting guard, 4,500 if you want to go to him for value. But that's really what I'm seeing at small forward, at least options that really catch my eye. Not seeing a ton of value on this slate I'm absolutely in love with. Going to be hard to go stars and scrubs today, I feel like, unless value opens up. Definitely possible that happens with it being an 11-game slate. But right now, the balanced approach is kind of where I'm seeing I'm going to be going today. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to power forward. Look up top here. You got Anthony Davis up top here going up against the Heat, 11,100. Really like AD here. If I can fit in a stud today, I think he's my favorite option. Just with Boogie off the court, Anthony Davis has been so good, giving you such a high floor, such a high ceiling. Look at his last 3 games before the break, 87, 60, and 77 DraftKings points. Played 50, 37, 33 minutes, heavy minutes every night for Anthony Davis if it's a competitive game. He's going to give you a high floor, going to give you a high ceiling. The Heat are a solid defensive team, but I'm not really worried about that. With a guy like Anthony Davis who's just going to get so much usage with Boogie off the court, going to grab a ton of rebounds, going to score. If I'm paying up for any guy on this slate like 10K and above, Anthony Davis right now is my favorite option at 11,100. There are definitely pivots, though, that you can go to that are cheaper. If you don't want to pay up for AD, like Blake Griffin against Boston, you could go there. Not a big fan of Blake's price, but he's in a good spot. Boston, although they're solid defensively, you can definitely attack them at the power forward position. So I do like Blake there. LMA seems too cheap. We know Kawhi might not even return the rest of the season, so LMA is going to be a guy we're going to be considering a lot the rest of the season, especially when he's only 7,700. Does seem like a little bit too cheap of a price for LMA. Him and Blake do make for nice pivots if you're not wanting to pay up here. But there are some mid-tier plays that I absolutely love at power forward today. Another guy in this mid-range I feel like is too underpriced, kind of like CJ McCollum. Al Horford at 6,700. I think that's way too cheap of a price tag for Al Horford, especially given the spot against Detroit. Feel like Horford gonna have to play minutes here now that Detroit has this big front court with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. Usually one of those guys is on the floor at all times, whether it be Griffin or Drummond. They're usually on the court at all times, at least one of them. So Horford gonna have to play minutes here. They're gonna need him on Drummond, on Blake Griffin. Feel like Horford plays close to 35 minutes if this is a competitive game, and at just 6,700, kind of similar with McCollum. I don't see how Horford doesn't pay off this price tag. You really only need about 33 DK points from him, and on the year, been averaging 34 DK points. Love Horford, love McCollum, 2 guys I feel like are just way underpriced, and I think make for great cash game plays today if you're sort of building a balanced lineup. You've got other mid-tier plays that I've kind of talked about that are around Horford, like Harrison Barnes, Otto Porter, guys that are power forward eligible. Gallinari down here at 6,300, power forward eligible as well. But definitely the guy I want there is Horford, especially in cash games today. And then in this 5K range, I think Dwight Powell, 5,800 against the Lakers. Powell was a guy I was pretty heavy on to end the break, was just playing so well, was so consistent. You look at his last 4 games before the break, 32, 32, 35, and 33 DraftKings points. In this same matchup, right before the break against the Lakers, he played 23 minutes, put up 32 DK points. You would think Dallas is going to be going young kind of the rest of the season, going to be giving some of these young guys more minutes. We could see Powell playing 25 to 30 minutes a night. So I do like him if you're going cheap at power forward. He's the one guy I like in that 5K range. You could also play Markieff Morris here, I believe. I believe he's power forward eligible. So if you want to go to him in that 5K range, I think he makes a lot of sense. And then trying to find cheap value, 5K and under. Not seeing a lot of cheap value that's under 5,000 that I'm absolutely in love with at power forward. So I think that's really it for this position, trying to go cheap. So let's go ahead, move on to center. You obviously have Anthony Davis up top here, who I do really like on this slate. You got Jokic for a little bit cheaper against the Spurs. Don't really like Jokic here, especially with him being 10,300. I know he was playing really well before the break, had some really nice games, but I just can't pay that price tag for Jokic. Would much rather get up to Anthony Davis or go down to Karl-Anthony Towns, who I think is a great play today. 9,400 against Houston. Karl-Anthony Towns has dominated in this matchup just throughout this year and in the past. Towns has done so well against the Rockets this year against them. He's played an average of 36 minutes through 2 games and has put up an average of 63 DraftKings points through 2 games against the Rockets. Seems like Towns always crushes in this spot. And at 9,400, I think that's a reasonable price tag to pay for Towns. He has a lot of upside. Did just put up 64 against them on the 13th against Houston. So Love Towns here. Really like him. If you're not wanting to go up to AD, I think he makes a lot of sense for nearly 2K cheaper. You do get some good savings going down from Davis to Towns. And obviously, since I like Towns, I'm going to probably prefer him over like Drummond. Even though Drummond's price tag has started to drop, I think that does make him an intriguing play at 9,300, but I would prefer Towns at 9,400, but Drummond is an option if you want to go to him. I like DeAndre Jordan here, but that price tag, 8,300, just can't pay that when I can get up to guys like Towns, Drummond, even Davis, and then I can find cheaper plays like Aldridge. So maybe if DeAndre Jordan's cheaper on some other sites like FanDuel, I haven't looked at FanDuel or any other sites, but if DJ's cheap there, you love that matchup against the Suns, you could play him. Not a lot of plays I love in this 7K range. Mostly going to be paying up at center or trying to find some value. I think there is value here. You got Powell for value if you want to play him at center. I think Jusuf Nurkic against the Jazz could be a value play. Nurkic is going to have to play minutes here, I feel like. Going up against Rudy Gobert, as long as Nurkic can stay out of foul trouble, they're going to need his size. They're going to need him on Gobert for defense. I think Nurkic plays at least close to 30 minutes here if he can stay out of foul trouble and if this game stays competitive. So you could use him for value at center. Powell at that same price tag, another value play I see. And then going 5K and under, there's a really good value play I feel like at this position. Just 4,800, Alex Len going up against the Clippers. Really like Alex Len today if you're trying to go cheap at center. Right now, as I'm recording this video on Thursday night, we have news that Tyson Chandler is doubtful. He is not expected to play. Alex Len did start their last game against the Jazz, but that was just because the Jazz have Rudy Gobert. But going up against the Clippers today, with DeAndre Jordan on the court, we could see Alex Len draw another start. They're going to need Len's size on DeAndre Jordan. And in their last game against the Jazz, Len started, played 38 minutes, 36 DraftKings points. If Len starts today and Chandler's out, and he's going to play 30-plus minutes, he's a great value option, especially at 4,800. Very likely he's able to pay this off. So love Len today. If you're going for a cheap center, he's my favorite option. Just looking for centers that are 5K and under. Love him as a value play. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing at this position. I think that's really it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the vid. If it helped you out, just make sure you drop a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or just leave a comment down below. I'll get back to your question as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck tonight on this slate, guys. Peace.